Hello, I am AxelMC131 and welcome to part 2 of the Procedural Rocketry 1 command tutorials. I use 1 command loosely because it is in 2 commands, but hell, what the hell? Let's get into it. Okay, so if you caught the first part, if you haven't already, I suggest you go and watch that. That was just an overview and also basic instructions for setup. And once again, there will be links to the both commands in the description. Anyway, so what are we going to do today? Well, today we're going to set up the crafting system and start crafting some rocket parts. So, what you're going to need, as this is completely survival friendly, all you're going to need is a crafting table and a redstone block. And if you don't know how to craft a redstone block, it's just 9 pieces of redstone dust. So, we're going to chuck down our crafting table over here somewhere, and all you have to do with the redstone block is drop it on top. Think, and there we go. And this has turned into a thing called a construction table, and this is a custom crafting table where we're going to make all our rocket parts. And I have this chest over here, which has everything you are going to need. As you can see, you'll need quite a bit of iron ingots and iron blocks. Also things like TNT, redstone, glass bottles, pistons, furnaces, glass, flint and steel, gunpowder, string, carpet, iron pickaxe, water, leather. I think that's pretty much everything. So we're just going to grab all this out. And these are all the ingredients that we're going to need for various things. So, how we build rockets? Well, the first thing that we're going to need is going to be a power source, and because this is slightly futuristic-ish, we're going to need some batteries. So we're going to get 2 iron ingots like that and a piece of redstone dust on top, and it's going to turn it into a battery cell. And we're going to need a few of these. So if we just make a few of these, there we go, make another one. I should just shift-click out of this. 2 iron, 1 redstone, shift-click, iron, redstone, shift-click. You need about 5 is a good number. If you're going to just start off basically. Okay, there we go. Now, what's the most important thing for a rocket? Probably fuel. So we're going to need to make rocket fuel. And if you don't know, real rocket fuel actually involves 2 parts. I have played Kerbal Space Program, cough cough. I'm interested in astrophysics, and I actually know a bit about rocket science. Not a huge amount. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I know a bit. So we're using, usually you'd have a fuel and an oxidizer. And the fuels and oxidizers we're going to be using are liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen. How do you get liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen? Well, from compressing hydrogen and oxygen gas. How do you get those? By electrolyzing water. So, first thing we're going to need here is a compressor. So we're going to put in a piston and a furnace and 2 battery cells on either side of the furnace there. There's just a regular piston, not a sticky piston, and we're going to surround it with 5 iron ingots like that and release. And that will make a compressor, which just looks like a piston, but it's called compressor. Now we can leave that compressor in there, because what we're going to do now is we're going to take 2 empty glass bottles, put one on either side at the bottom there, a water bucket, and now we're going to grab one of our battery cells to power it. And that will electrolyze and then compress the water into liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. And they are just potions, but I just wanted those for the colors. I'm not sure how to make custom potions without having the color. So we'll just put those to the side. Now we're going to take our liquid hydrogen and our liquid oxygen. We're going to put the oxygen tank in the middle and the hydrogen tank at the bottom. We're going to put 3 iron in a triangle around them, and then leather on either side. And that will make our liquid fuel oxidizer fuel tank, which you can see says rocket part. And this is one of the parts we're going to use to make our rocket. Nice. Okay, what's next? Well, now that we have a fuel tank, I suppose we need some engines. So, we're going to start off with a small rocket engine, and for that you're going to need 5 iron ingots like this, and a flint and steel in the middle. Bink, small rocket engine. And if that's not giving you enough thrust, we can also make a bigger one with 4 iron blocks like that, 2 iron ingots on either side at the top, and then gunpowder in the middle. And they'll give us a large rocket engine. Cool. So now we need something to actually be driving this rocket, and we're going to make an unmanned command capsule. Now there's another thing that we need to make first, which is a parachute, because we are going to be retrieving this capsule once we have launched it. So we're going to take 3 pieces of carpet like that, just regular white carpet, 3 pieces of string, and an iron ingot at the bottom, and that will make us this parachute. Then we're going to take a piece of glass, we're going to put our parachute on top, and a battery cell in the bottom, and we're going to put 4 iron ingots around it like that. And that will make our command capsule. Cool. Okay, a few more things to make. Now what we need is, we need to have a way to separate stages. So we're going to have a little explosive decoupler, which is why we have the TNT. So we're going to put TNT in the middle, iron ingot on either side like that, and that will make a stage separator. And we're also going to make some stabilizing fins. So you're just going to put some iron like that, and then one in the bottom right, and that'll make stabilizing fins. Cool. So those are all the rocket parts. Now there are two more utility items that we're going to need. One of them is an undo tool. So that's why we have our iron pickaxe here. And all we're going to do to make the undo tool is take an iron pickaxe and just surround it with redstone dust. And that will make this undo last placement, which is allegedly a rocket part. And you can actually use this as a regular pickaxe if you want. But this is required if you misplace something or you place the wrong part and you want to undo that. And that's because of the way this is made. And finally, the last thing that we're going to need is a place to actually plant this rocket. So we're going to need a launch pad. So we're going to take our last battery cell there, at the bottom there, put an iron block on either side, and then 3 iron ingots across the top, and that will make our launch pad, which is a spawn egg. Cool. So now we have all the parts. That's all the crafting that we need. Now, because you are on survival, you can place these down anywhere in the world. However, you do use these parts one for one. And you don't get them back if you misplace something and you use the undo tool. And that's quite important to know. So at the moment I only have one of each of these parts. It will use one of each. So even if I place down this launch pad, I could place down the rocket, but it would then be gone. And if I made a mistake, then the parts that I removed would also then be gone. Fortunately, I have a chest over here with some extra parts that I made earlier. Hey presto! Let's just get all of these. And now that I have a stack of each of these parts, because they all do stack, then we can go and place a launch pad down somewhere. So just because it's a spawn egg, you just right click on the ground and it'll place it. There we go. And it'll make this little 3x3 stone slab area. Cool. So now we have a place to put our rocket. And there's a few other things that are important here. We won't get into because we're not launching them, but I will say give yourself a piece of paper. So if you are in survival, you can go and find sugarcane, or you can go give paper. There we go. And all you have to do, well, technically it appeared on the ground, so it already did it, but all you've got to do is throw the paper on the ground, and it will update rocket statistics. And that will show up as the scoreboard on the right, and you will need that. You will need to update them every time you launch a rocket. So for the moment you can see we have one stage, even though there's nothing there. We have 0 fuel, 0 thrust. TWR is thrust to weight ratio, and we have 0 of that, and our weight is 0. And there are no parts on the launch pad at the moment, so that's why. Now, interesting little feature. While the undo tool can be used to remove parts normally, if you have misplaced the launch pad and you want to get rid of it, or you finished up with it and you want to get rid of it, you can just break it normally, or you can throw the undo tool on top of it, and that will clear it. Cool. So that's pretty much it for the crafting and the basic setup of the launch pad. In the next part, I will show you how to actually build and then launch your rocket. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been AxelMC131, hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next part.